They've been discussing British accents in the chat. And I'd like to emphasise that, yes, I would agree there's no such thing. Well, then you could argue there's no such thing as an American accent. But yes, our accent is an English accent. It's a Southern English accent, and it's an RP.
I disagree with your characterisation. Our accent is what I call the Imperial Accent, because this is the accent that not only the upper classes in the United Kingdom historically spoke, all of them, irrespective of where they were from, including Scotland. If you meet Scottish aristocrats, they don't go, "Oh, hi, laddie."
No, but in my experience, there is a kind of a Scottishness to their poshness.
There's a very slight Scottish burr to the accent, would you say?
Yes.
I have encountered that, but the ones I've encountered tend to speak pure RP. Maybe it's the Highland aristocracy that have a burr. But getting back to the point I'm making is that the BBC originally, when it was meant to be this focal point of British culture, and the exemplar of what British culture was in terms of art and science and learning, this RP, or received pronunciation, was the accent that TV and radio presenters had to speak. And this is an imperial dialect. This is something that is designed to create unity among different people who would otherwise fractionate along linguistic lines. And, prior to linguistic pseudo-speciation, you have dialectal pseudo-speciation. So dialects precede the origin of new languages. And this is the unity accent essentially of the United Kingdom. One of the things that appeals to me is that this is intensely annoying for people who should ordinarily speak as I do, but refuse to, because they'd much rather affect a Mockney accent. It's always fun to call those people out, I find.
And on the news now, they've gone down an octave, they speak in the throat. The placement of their voice is in the pharynx. It's very, very irritating.
It's really for costly signalling reasons. They do it to try and signal their with-itness.
And they are modifying Southern English vowels. We would say Bath, like that. And they've turned that into Bath. People who are clearly Southerners are basically speaking a form of modern-day RP. And they have this northern pronunciation of words like Bath.
The thing is, the estuarine vowels, if you've ever met real Cockneys, and they're an extreme minority now in London, very, very rare. If you've ever met these people, they absolutely hate the Mockney accent. They hate the Russell Brand accent, that leery affectation.
They say things that a BBC person would never say. They say things like, "Oh, he's gone off."
Yes, the genuine Cockneys, for whom that is their actual dialect. This estuarine vowel dialect, they can't stand it. And I don't blame them. I think it's terrible, this linguistic gentrification. I like regional diversity of accents in the UK.
There's a very interesting book by Tony McInerney about the rise of the English middle class and how they created themselves and distinguished themselves from the working and upper classes through the stress on morality, the stress on religiousness. And then with the language, you get this fascinating thing. According to Mary Douglas's purity rule, the further you are from the centre of power, the less important it is to be pure. That's her theory. So people like the Dalit or whatever, they're far from the centre of power so they can eat snakes and whatever. And then people like the Brahmin, they're highly controlled and they have to be vegetarian. Well, in reality, it's actually more complicated than that, because it is the middle class who are the most pure because they're insecure about who they are. They don't want to be seen as working class and they want to imitate the upper class, but they want to see themselves as better than them because they're more moral, or these days more left-wing. And so you end up with a situation where the people that swear the least, it's this kind of hypercorrection, is the middle class, then the upper class, then the working class. So I found at university that it would be people from the upper class that were more likely to swear, for example. And it was the middle of the middle class, the people whose parents hadn't been to university who would never swear at all.